We've got your vagina spread. Oh, we'll pass it out now. Take one. You don't have to apply it. In the 90s, we made you apply it. I'm gonna remember today. Today, we're not gonna put the camera on you, but you just start. My name is John. I'm 14 years old. I'm from bumfuck Mississippi, and then the next person. Okay? Are we on? Okay, young man.
Patrick, 20, United States.
Leonard, 38, Colorado.
Christy, 27, United States.
Mike, 35, Pennsylvania.
Michel, 46, from the Netherlands.
Etienne, 48, Canada.
Leslie, 34, London.
Valentin, 20, France.
You got to think about that, huh? If you got to think about what your name is. Okay, next.
Irvin, 43, Netherlands.
Brian, 42, US.
Robbie, 26, California.
Joris, 40, the Netherlands. Marco, 27, Singapore.
Chris, 29, Melbourne, Australia.
Derek, 26, Quebec.
Stanley, 32, Vancouver.
Greg, 33, Edmonton, Alberta.
James, California.
Daniel,
Wait, age?
42.
Daniel, 31, US. Duncan, 38, New Zealand.
John, 35, Chicago.
Max, and 32, Latvia.
Curtis, 48, Hawaii.
Ozan.
Well, if you follow in Josh Kim's footsteps, we've got a 100% track record in Hawaii right now. As you can see, we range from age from 19 to 48. The average age, I think I might have mentioned last night, is actually 33.6, rounded out to 34. We are, 10 years ago, my demographics were 35 to 55. Now my demographics are 15 to 35, the majority. 60% of the people that follow me are from 15 to 35, and then we get the odd end of the bell curve. But when we were growing up, or I say we, when I was growing up, if my parents talked shit, I never said anything. I just looked down and just accepted the shit. Okay, now 15, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, when their parents talk shit, they Google and they realize they're talking shit. So that's why our demographics have changed so much, because we almost have instantaneous communication. This week will change the lives of everybody in this room. Not everybody in the room is going to be a billionaire, not everybody in the room is going to make 100 million, but everybody in the room will benefit. We have people, as I told this young man yesterday, we have people that come back 10, 12 years later. It took 10, 12 years for them to get it. And I also told the group, I believe, 10, 12, 13 years. Every seminar, I hope and pray that I don't have any more 12 or 13-year-old success stories. But I would rather have a 12 or 13-year-old success story than no fucking success story. And the only thing I can guarantee, as I said last night in the introduction, the only guarantee in the seminar is if you stop swinging at the plate, you're never going to hit the fucking ball. And we have a lot of guys and gals that are late bloomers, shall we say. Late bloomers. We have people that, like Josh Kim, that hit it over the fucking fence, 17, 18 years old. And we're going to see a number of Josh Kim's role plays that he did right here in this room in August. And to show you how simple he makes it. And as opposed to, it's not meant to take a year to do a deal. As we illustrated in late December, where we have an active duty military that closed 2 deals in 117 days. From the day he left the seminar to the day he closed the 2 deals, 117. That's the new current modern day record. Modern day record. While he was still an active duty military guy. And so he's a captain in the Air Force, so hence I call him Captain America. But anyway, so like in the Marvel comics. Last night you saw a number of things, but If you need your homework to be able to comment on the movies, then keep it. But I will collect the homework once we've gone over the movies. Okay? What's the takeaway on the founder?
Ruthless.
Persistence.
He was an asshole. Plain and simple. And the older the guys get, like there's been 2 movies, I believe, about Steve Jobs. The first movie, it kind of made him out to be a rough asshole. The second movie made him out to be a ruthless, rough asshole. Now I'm told there's a third movie coming out where he is just a fucking beast, which is what he was. The longer they're dead, the more truth comes out about him. God only knows. Allah and Buddha only know what they're going to write about me after I'm dead 50 years. But what else about the founder of McDonald's? Yeah, go ahead.
He said if his competitor was drowning, he'd walk over and stick a hose in his mouth.
A fucking man. Most of the guys that you revere, and this is a horrible analogy, if your mother, let's just assume you love your mom. Most of you shouldn't love your mom, but let's just say you do. And she had one breath left that she could take, most of the guys that you revere would stick their dick in it to make sure she didn't get it. These are the guys that I know. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because you've never met these ruthless pricks like I have, most of the big guys say that I'm too easy. I'm a pussy. If I'm a fucking pussy, where does that put you on the food chain? They're fucking... I keep on saying during the week, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. And one after another that we dissect, last night it was the founder of McDonald's, Happy Slappy, Ray Kroc, selling fucking malt machines, broke, selling malt machines out of the trunk of his car. I remember, haven't seen the movie in a while. And he built that empire, right? He mortgaged his house without telling his wife, which I think was smart. And one of the reasons you're not so successful is you share information. You share doubts when you come home from work. And now, in my day, they call them your old lady. That means the woman that you live with. The old lady says, well, how was it today? Oh, it was a fucker. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, this QLA shit. But that old cocksucker Peña, I mean, Jesus Christ, I would have never started. And guess what? And you wonder why they're not supportive. You've done that for years and years and years. There's not a man in this room, and there's no women in here, so there's not a man in this room that can say that he hasn't shared doubts with somebody in his life. Why? Because you want them to relate. You want to commiserate. You want them to feel the pain you feel. Misery loves company. We've all heard that, right? Most of you come from quiet lives of desperation. Again, I said again, and I'm going to say many times during the week, you're here because you've got no alternatives. A couple of you think you've got alternatives, but you don't. Of all the business transactions and the potential deals that you've listed on your paperwork, that you sent me, there's not one that's worth a shit. Not 1 out of 24 is worth a fuck. You should all does everybody understand turn the key? Just go home and turn the motherfucking key. That means, don't try to sell it even. Just walk away. Turn the key and walk away. And hope your creditors don't catch you. There's not one, of course, but this is not unusual. We rarely get, 2 seminars ago, we had 3, arguably 4 guys that had businesses that were really, had good models. They were just operating them inefficiently. And I showed them how to fix them up. But the models weren't good enough to keep the business. I fixed them up and I said sell in the next 6 to 18 months. And you can trick fuck the people you're going to sell it to. Not dishonestly, but you'll puff it up like a show dog. And you know how before a dog goes into a competition, they fluff the hair up and they wash it. That's what you can do to the business, and then get out of the son of a bitch. What else about Ray Kroc? Yes, sir.
You didn't try to copy like the model. You partnered with people who were good at operating, and we had a great brand.
They copied the model. He mimicked. Life is not a process. Excuse me. Life is not a journey. It is a process. And I have some of my mentees that are very famous that say it's a journey. Well, it's not a journey. And I didn't invent mentoring. I didn't invent modeling. I didn't invent copying. The first three guys that did it were back Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates. That was recorded. I'm sure they had mentoring before that. But those are the three that are most famous for developing those models, or a model to copy. My QLA model isn't my original idea. I copied it from Andrew Carnegie, who comes from just down the road here, 30 or 35 miles. I almost want to say there's no original thought, but now with the internet, there is some original thought. But that's not what I'm here to teach you. I'm not here to teach you a marketing gimmick to sell, to get an affiliate program going. That's not what this is about. This is about creating generational wealth that would normally take 20 to 25 years, and you can do it in 3 to 7 years, depending on how good you are. Josh has done it in 3 as a 17-year-old. Now, if you're not embarrassed, whether you're 20 or 48, if you're not embarrassed by a fucking teenager doing this, then you shouldn't have come. And he's not special. I'm going to say it again. He's not special. We have teenagers making $1 million a year. Well, I don't even brag about them. I don't even talk about them on the internet. Because $1 million a year is chump change. But in your world, $1 million a year is big money. Let's just call it $100,000 a month. Round it, That's 25 grand a week. That's $5,000 a day, because I know you're only going to work 5 days. That's big fucking money to most of you. If you told your parents that you could cut a deal with the devil and make $100,000 a month, they'd say, just sign up. They wouldn't even ask you what it was for. My dad asked me when he came to the castle the one and only time. We're walking from the library to the drawing room, and I've got my arm around him like this, and he looks up at me and he says, just tell me it's not drugs. Because the only thing that he could relate to that made that kind of money as quickly as they thought I made it was to be involved in drugs. And I said, it's kind of like drugs, Dad. It's oil and gas. Kind of drugs, But you've had poor role models. Most of your families think you're crazy to be here if you told them the truth. Some of you didn't tell them the truth. Now let's just think about that a second. If you didn't tell your close personal associates, family, the truth about you being here, what does that really say about you? What does that really say about the people that you're around? What does that really say about your family? It speaks volumes. And those of you that didn't tell, you know who I'm talking about. I've told the young kids, that I've talked to so far, this is not a networking event. In fact, if you get thrown out of the program, if I find out that you're networking once you leave here. Once you leave here, you don't talk to anybody in this group. And I will find out. Because there's always a leak. There's always a whistleblower. And then you're out. Why don't I want you to talk to each other? Because all you're going to do is share doubts and bad information. You're not going to share best practices. The best practices you're going to get here, the templates you're going to get here, you're going to get them, but they're hard. You're 2,000 cold calls away from doing a deal. 2,000 cold calls away. Some of you will take 10 years. Some of you will take 10 months. When I said that last night to the group, you looked like you all turned white. There's a couple of you in here that fancy that you're salespeople. We're gonna find out real quick. I mean, in the first weekly report you send me, the three most important parts of the report are L, M, and N. L, M, and N. It's alphabetized, A through Z. L, M, and N. If I didn't read anything else on your weekly report, and I only read L, M, and N, I can tell if you're going to be a 10-year guy or a 10-month guy. And when you get the weekly report later in the week, and you look at L, M, and N, you go, fuck. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do all the others, but I can tell just by looking at L, M, and N. And there's about 70-some questions each week that you have to answer. You don't have to do fuck. I don't give a fuck if you do. That are a requirement. And if you don't answer them, then I throw you out of the program. Anything else about Ray Kwok? Yes, sir.
As driven as he was open to listening to the random guy outside the bank and opening his mind to other possibilities. So it's driven. I thought that was...
Well, all these guys are driven. I'm still... If you think that I'm driven now, you should have seen me when I was 30. I mean, I was a psychopath that could work 120 hours a week, go 3 or 4 or 5 nights without sleep, drink like a fucking fish, fuck all day and all night. I was a living, walking, motherfucking psycho. And for those people that knew me back in those days, I used to go to the first meeting, and they would ask, to this day, they still tell Sally, we don't, is it possible we don't really think Mr. Peña needs to come to the next meeting? I'm in my 70s now, and they still don't want me in the meeting. Because I hold people fucking accountable, just like I'm going to hold you sorry cunts, and just like I give you vagina juice just now. And unless you're in a motherfucking coma or dead, there's no excuse. And one of my favorite sayings is, if we were at war, we'd be dead. Okay, you saw a thing about Barron Trump. Takeaway about the kid. Yes, sir.
Dresses for success.
You only have 2 times to make a first impression, which is kind of sounds like an oxymoron. But one, when they see you, what you look like. That's why the uniform works so well. And 2, when you open your big fucking mouth. And even those of you that can dress like Bruce Whipple, which is my model, Bruce Whipple, for 25 years, he's been the model of dress and decorum. When you open your mouth is when you step on your dick. And that's why I tell you to join Toastmasters. I tell you to go to improvisation. I tell you to, all these things that we're going to go in detail during the week, because your communication skills suck. From communication skills, we can build leadership skills. But if you got no fucking communication skills, I find it not impossible, but almost impossible to build leadership skills. What else about Barron? Yes, sir.
He's being groomed to be a high performer.
There's little chance that he won't be a high performance guy. Okay, YouTube, thank you.